I'm feeling yummy today with Grant Miller. I'm Mark Trowbridge with our Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. And well, it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming together for you in the name of business, in the name of community, and of course, Miami's community newspapers. Hello, Grant Miller.
How you doing? You know, there's a new theme going in Coral Gables. Live, work, play, and learn.
And learn and play football.
Absolutely. That's another subject we need to talk about.
I didn't add that to our rundown, but like anything, we always go off script within the first 30 seconds. So it's a great Thursday. It's not our usual Tuesday at 3. So thanks for those of you that are
Where were you?
Finding us on your dial. I was out of town. I sometimes happen.
Yummy.
Yummy.
Gwen.
Why are we using the song Yummy by Gwen Stefani today?
We must have ate a lot.
Well, we've been eating nonstop. I just came in here and you're like, have a slice of pizza. And I'm like, well, I don't mind if I do.
But today is National.
2 days today. Today is National.
What? I don't know. Oh,
it's there on the schedule.
Christmas card day.
Christmas card day, but it's also National.
I don't know.
It's the one above it.
Pastry day.
Pastry day.
And
things that pastry, I find to be incredibly yummy, like a pastry from Bashur. Incroyable.
There's another restaurant like his on Andalusia, the chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate fashion.
Yeah, those are locally owned. I love those two restaurants.
I love Percy. Percy is the proprietor of Chocolate Fashion. She's brilliant. And
her son played football for me, Marcus.
I don't know Marcus as well because Percy always takes good care of me.
Well, when you go in, you say, Marcus, mention my name and duck.
And he'll mark me up 10%.
Right. So
we pre-added the tip.
So this morning I had you bright and early this morning. It's like,
I had already worked out.
That is totally impressive.
I got up at 4:40 this morning. I was at Lifetime at 5:35. And, I don't particularly like working out on days where I'm going to have to shower and put on a suit. It's a lot easier to get dressed in the locker room when you're just going to wear like khakis and a button down or a polo. Today, I had to put on the full suit because we were having a breakfast together. And I was out of there a little after 7. Got to your place, and I always love watching the early arrivers kind of, moseying across the street and trying to figure out. So behind me parked Jean Alaman,
former
Miami Beach commissioner, and now with Jacobs Engineering. And parking in front of me was Barbie Gonzalez Jimenez, Barbie G. Who was there today supporting the chairman and his Toys for Tots event coming up this Saturday. So Barbie works out at the same health club that I do. So while I was on the rower today, she was in a GTX class doing weights.
Really?
So she didn't see me, but I saw her while I was on the rower. So she pulls up. First of all, she's hanging her cig out the window. I don't know if we're supposed to know that she smokes or not, but
and her husband doesn't want to
smoking out the window, which I think is hilarious because you just busted your hump working out. But you know what? I just ate a slice of pizza from the Big Cheese. It's kind of the same thing after my workout today,
so
right? A little reversal of fortune.
We're going to get to, but her husband played for the Canes.
Julio.
Okay, no. And by the way, good question. JB was at our breakfast. John was at the breakfast.
I didn't see JB.
JB wasn't. He was at Columbus High School.
Because there was a big announcement today from Marcus Lemois.
$18,000.
I thought you told me yesterday it was $10,000.
Yeah, but he bumped it up. I was off.
That has to be close to what some of those people make in a year.
One of the people I was talking to says, I get to pay my credit card off. That is the greatest thing. He gave $7 million to the college. The high school a couple of years ago. Now $3 million.
He's an alum.
Yeah, $3 million to the teachers.
3.1 million today to over, 60, 70 employees. He gave them each $18,000. My staff came right in to let me know about it. And I said, that's wonderful. I said, I will give each of you $1.80.
And how much did I say I was going to give you? $18. But I took it back because you weren't paying attention. So congratulations to Columbus High School. And so
this has been like Columbus's year.
Oh, yeah. So let's get to football later.
It's awesome.
So we had a great breakfast, as you always MC. We had Jose Pepe Diaz.
Chairman Diaz did a great job today. Actually, I teased him when we were finishing up the Q&A because it's always dangerous when you take one more question. But he dodged a couple bullets today. No questions about Calusa. No questions about anything else that was overly controversial. Big time focus on transportation, on mobility, and the future of that, and federal dollars, state dollars, and how we're going to address some of the traffic gridlock issues in South Dade.
I love when people, they talk for a minute and they don't ask the question. They want to make a statement. Okay, you're smart.
I never want to be a jerk and say, by the way, we're going to take questions. Be sure it's in the form of a question, or be sure it is a question. But to be candid with you, everybody's got to give sort of a preamble. All 5 questions today had a lengthier preamble than actual question.
Well, we had a great day. And thank you, George Gonzalez. You get a grand. He says we got to give him a grand for being a great fan.
You get a grand. You get a grand.
All right. So Pepe Diaz did a great job. And let's talk about our favorite Congresswoman.
It was really great to see Ileana Ros-Lehtinen there today at the breakfast. And, of course, her husband, Dexter. You know, she represented our community for almost 30 years just in Congress. And before that, she was in the Florida House and dedicated her entire life to public service and to Floridians. And on top of that, she's a cool lady. One of my favorite stories about her is that a buddy of mine and I had just had lunch at Versailles. We're coming back down 8th Street there, just right there on the northern tip of the Gables. And where Gold's Gym used to be, where a new facility for Jackson is being built, she was standing on the corner.
Doing what?
Just standing and waiting. So I pulled over and I did a little quick U-turn and I came up beside her and I had my window down. I said, Congresswoman. She goes, Mark. I said, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm waiting for my ride to come pick me up. She'd been at an appointment and was just waiting to get picked up. And I said, well, do you want us to drop you anywhere? No, they'll be here shortly. Now, this is before Uber and Lyft. I mean, she was literally waiting for a staffer or friend to come pick her up. And I was just thinking to myself, she's just like us. Standing on a street corner, waiting for your ride like everybody else.
That's why everybody loves her.
And when we would come up to D.C. every year, the first thing she would say to me is, now tell me this. I want to know the new restaurants in Coral Gables so that when I'm back home, we can go check them out. Dexter and I love to go out and try new restaurants. So we'd always go through a list of that. We'd always take a picture with the latest Miami's community newspapers because she was very much about supporting local. And even cooler than that, she would always comment on my socks because I'm always about socks. And so,
can I see your?
You know who was really into socks was former President Bush 41, George H.W. Bush. And that was kind of his trademark. Well, you're wearing some nice holiday ones.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my favorite color. You're going to have to hoist my leg up because I did leg day. There you go. Always Gator colors representing. Little orange and blue. Those are from Happy Socks. Bought those in Times Square.
Okay, let's talk about, speak about Times Square. What did you do this weekend?
So I always go to New York City
with
my friend Alicia.
Do I know Alicia?
In December. I don't think so. She's a friend from college. We went to University of Florida together. So I've known her. She lives in Miami Springs. She's also my neighbor.
Was that planned?
Maybe. So we went to graduate school together at University of Florida. We're both Gators. And we worked together and lived in neighboring residence halls. And then I moved to Miami. She moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I almost moved, but I flipped a coin and said, I'll take the job in Miami. A couple years later, she's married or fiancéed with somebody. And he gets a job at University of Miami. So then they moved to Miami. So now we're back in Miami. She grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Tamarack area. Then she gets divorced, stays in Miami, becomes my next door neighbor in the Gables.
What's your number again?
Okay. She is very lovely and available.
Oh, okay.
She lives in the apartment next to me, and now she's just a few blocks away. So
it's pretty wild how the world is.
It is how small the world is, and we've been friends a long time. And so we typically go up more in the middle of the month. I need help getting into the Christmas spirit. I grew up in Ohio where you knew it was Christmas time because there was snow on the ground or it was really cold or both. And it's tough sometimes in Miami. So there's 3 things that get me in the Christmas spirit. Are you ready?
Ready.
Number 1, holiday shopping at like Crate and Barrel and places like that.
Well, we got to talk about that.
We will. Number 2, going to New York, seeing the Rockettes do their Christmas spectacular, and going to all the really cool Christmas markets. We went to 5 different ones. And then Friday night, next Friday, I'll be going to see Seraphic Fire perform in concert.
Where?
At First United Methodist Church in Coral Gables. And that is the final way that I get into the Christmas spirit, because I hear Christmas carols, Christmas songs, and I am transformed. So I'm about 2/3 of the way there, but the concert left to go. New York was spectacular, by the way. The weather was between 47 and 61. Perfect. It only rained for about 2 hours on Monday, which did not affect us, even though I carried my umbrella. I had to wear a jacket and gloves because I've become a big wuss. And we went to the Christmas markets at Columbus Circle, Union Square, Bryant Park. There was one in Hell's Kitchen, and there was one in Times Square.
You go once a year?
Once a year for the Christmas markets. I go to New York 3 times a year. So I was already in July, now in December, and I'll go again in March. So
pretty
3
exciting.
Times a year. And we saw our first Broadway show in more than 2 years.
What did you see?
I saw Mrs. Doubtfire, which was in previews, which is now open fully.
Robert Williams?
It's about the movie that Robin Williams starred in. And
that is a funny movie.
It's a funny play. And it's a musical. So they wrote all these original songs that, help you along in the story about the Robin Williams character, Daniel, and the divorce and the kids and him finding a second act professionally, and obviously dressing as Mrs. Doubtfire. By the way, what's super cool is every single change back and forth between Mrs. Doubtfire and Daniel was done on stage. It didn't happen behind.
So it's even cooler. You see the whole thing.
And people are helping him. Like the other cast members help as part of the story.
You see the whole thing. That's pretty cool.
You see the transformation and the detransformation each time. And he must have done it. Oh, gosh, I wish I could have kept track. 20 times back and forth. The one scene where they're in the restaurant where he does it like 6 times alone.
That is a funny scene in the movie.
But think about it. In a movie, they're cutting.
And they're editing.
They're editing. They're cutting. They're stopping. They're refilming.
How quick do they change? A minute? 2 minutes?
Less.
Wow. All right, let's talk about more exciting things other than the play. That's very exciting.
And New York.
It is exciting.
I love New York. By the way, everywhere we went, we had to show our Vax card and our ID. Everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Theater, restaurants, even little diners wanted to see your vaccination card.
Well, your second favorite team is the Miami Dolphins. What about them? Pretty exciting.
So I watched a little bit of that game because, as you can imagine, we were in New York. Every TV was tuned to the game because of the Giants.
Right.
And, the Giants are kind of hapless. And I think the game ended up being like 22-9. But New Yorkers were not pleased because they saw the Dolphins, even at that point with a 4-game winning streak, as being, a team that had lost 7 in a row.
Right.
Now we have a chance to win our 6th in a row and get to 500.
That's exciting. All right. Big news.
Big news.
Mario. Super Mario.
Welcome back, Mario Cristobal.
Okay. I don't know all the story about him, but he went to St. Teresa.
Okay.
Then he went to Columbus.
For high school.
Then he went to UM, played with his brother. Then he then he was a graduate assistant. Then he went to, I think, somewhere else. Then he went FIU.
He was an analyst at Alabama after FIU.
No. He went FIU, and then Pete Garcia did him the greatest favor, firing him. He went to UM for 6 weeks, and Alabama hired him. And then Oregon, and he's back home in the city of Westchester.
Well, interestingly enough, when he went to Oregon, he went as the defensive coordinator, and then Willie Taggart left after that first season to be the coach at FSU. And so they elevated Mario right then. Oh, we have some stats.
Oh, I like that. Thank you.
Andres has become quite the producer.
Oh, you go for him. Read them.
Oregon made 53 appearances in the AP Top 25 under Mario Cristobal. That's 4 more times than Miami has made in just the past 8 seasons.
Wow.
Combined.
That's very good. Thank you.
So Mario's done something that Miami hasn't done. He's won 2 Pac-12 titles. Miami has been in the title game once, lost to Clemson. And so I think people are pretty confident that they'll make a quick run.
Did you hear his opening speech?
At that. I heard bits of it. It's very motivating.
It all sounds great, but I think that he is embedded into Miami. His family lives in Westchester. His best friend and his offensive line coach,
Alex,
who was named the recruiter of the year last year. And he was, I guess, top running for being the offensive line coach in the country.
And he was with him at Oregon.
Right. Yes, he was at Oregon. And before that, he was at Appalachian State. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And I think ticket sales will go up. And with Manny Diaz, it was an awkward position. They weren't sure they're going to get Mario. So they said, well, we can't fire him because we don't know if we're going to get Mario. And so, but Manny,
I'll be honest with you, from an insider outsider point of view, it's just there's no win in that situation. I mean, it was very public, their courtship, because that's just the world we live in today, where nothing is secret. There's no respect given to a job search. It's just the minute people get a source and a corroborated source, it's out on the wires. And so the only thing that I think was sort of disappointing, and I think he talked about it in his, goodbye statement, Coach Diaz, was that, he was just disappointed in how it all happened, because it was very public that, if we don't get Coach Cristobal, then we'll just stick with Manny. I mean, it's probably no worse feeling than being, you're not even the bridesmaid. You're like,
I know that
the spare bridesmaid.
I have that feeling with you. I'm not even the bridesmaid.
No.
What do you think, Andres?
Feel that way?
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like a lot of people today wanted to lift you up.
Who's going to be the state champion?
I lift you up.
Who's going to be the state champion? Florida or USC?
Well, technically, the state champion has been typically crowned between Miami, FSU, and Florida. And so this year it was Florida, because Florida State beat Miami and we beat Florida State. Now, that's not good empirical data, but when Miami beats FSU and FSU beats us, they crown themselves state champs. I had this conversation with Maria Alonso.
I disagree. Central Florida beats Florida. They are the state champions.
Okay, well, that's perfectly fine. But we're talking about current situation.
Oh, right. Well,
we are poised.
Right. Okay.
Did UCF play anybody else in the state?
Nobody.
Okay.
Thank you, George. Yes. You want to talk about the superintendent leaving?
Yeah. So it was breaking on the wire as we were coming over here today that Superintendent Alberto Carvalho has accepted the offer from the LA Unified School District, the largest school district in America, to become their new superintendent. So, Alberto has been here as superintendent since 2008. So, it's an incredible loss after 13, 14 years, but what a great opportunity for him to go from the fourth largest district in the United States to the biggest. And he's really gotten two of the biggest jobs, because he got the New York job a few years ago. And if you all remember, when the Parkland shooting happened, he decided to step away from that and said, I'm needed back here. I'm needed in Miami. And, you and I were talking off air about this, but he really has accomplished about everything he could accomplish here. He's addressed the last 2 years, a very distressing experience with COVID and its impact upon the teachers and support personnel and certainly our students. But I think when it comes down to it, and Alberto may never say this publicly because he's more of a gentleman than I, is quite simply that when the governor here took aim at superintendents and school boards and said, if you override my no mask mandate, I will basically stop making sure that you're paid. I think he just saw that as the last straw. And I'm sure when LA called, he picked up that phone. That would, first of all, never happen in California. Totally different kind of leadership and state there. And secondly, you're running such a large operation that you're as big as the city itself.
Right. So Wednesday, last night, you had wind down. I call it wind down Wednesday.
Wind down
Wednesday.
We're winding it down.
Yes.
You want to call it wine.
Yeah.
A brand new restaurant called Maya, which is in the Aloft Hotel right on Lejeune.
So there's 40 people, look like.
Yep. Really good crowd.
You couldn't get any more people in there. 35 people I never seen in my life.
Sure.
So that's exciting. Those are new members.
And prospects. We had several prospects there. We want to finish the first part of our fiscal year strong, which is December 31. I just was reviewing the first quarter numbers. pretty strong. We're definitely in a growth trajectory, but still a lot of work to do, especially in the trustee recruitment space. We were a little bit behind, about 5 through the first quarter, so we need to make that up.
Okay, trash pickup you had. That was what day was that?
Last Thursday.
Last 122 pounds of trash.
122 pounds of garbage collected in about 75 minutes by 37 volunteers. This is our officially third cleanup, second in the last 2 months.
Who's the 37 volunteers? Some from Chamber, from the city?
Chamber, bid, city, residents, folks whose kids need volunteer hours, folks who are very environmentally conscious.
But you've walked around Core Gables, John Doe or Mrs. Gonzalez, whatever name you want to use. It looks clean.
I think so. I think from the outside looking in, but if you really kind of roll up your sleeves, we've got issues of where sidewalks need cleaning. We've got, bird poop that needs to be, washed away, both on, building facades and on sidewalks. And listen, people bury their trash in the hedges. The mayor and I, legitimately pulled out, I don't know, 4 or 5 giant bags of garbage a couple months ago of just old soda cans and, food receptacles and trash bags.
And you got coming up the book club, or our favorite.
We had the book club. We did that with Mitchell Kaplan, which was really great.
Was that last Friday?
Last Friday, he gave a consumer's hot tip list of books you could give as a gift, books you could give to yourself, books you could give to your coworkers and colleagues.
Any Abraham Lincoln books?
No Abraham Lincoln books. But when I was in New York, one of the things I love to do is visit independent bookstores.
And there are a lot of them there, huh?
There are a good number, a lot in the rare book space, but this is a bookstore called The Strand. It's down in the Village. It's prides itself on having 18 miles of bookshelves in the store. It's just an enormous store in the Village. So I always typically go in there and just, enjoy the smell of new books. And
it's a great smell.
It's a great smell. But they had a shelf that is like rare books. And so I started looking at that, and to my great surprise, they had a leather-bound first edition of Gore Vidal's book called Lincoln. Signed first edition by Gore Vidal.
Did you buy it?
I bought that book.
See, I know that. Okay, next.
You know me that well.
Yes.
I love it.
I didn't get to go to it, but the Crate and Barrel event yesterday, I hear, was just rocking and rolling.
I think it was a great event on 2 fronts. I think one, anytime you have a first-time opportunity to work with a really prominent business in our community is a win-win. And number 2, when you can do something different for your members, I always worry that every month we produce a breakfast, every month we produce a women's lunch, every month we do a wind down Wednesday. But where do we put our energy and enthusiasm when it comes to, creative programming? And so working with Erica and our team.
Thank you, Erica.
And Nikki Diaz, who is our PR person, who also represents Crate and Barrel in the shops at Merrick Park. We went and made a pitch, and they loved it. And before the event ended, we had about 70 people.
Show up at 8 to 8:30.
Show up between 8 and 8:30, and then they were there till about 9:40.
Crate Barrel doesn't open until 10, officially.
Correct. So at 10 o'clock, most of our folks were done shopping and gone, and the bookstore or the store was obviously open. But everybody got to shop early, and Crate and Barrel, they pack them in there. You might wait in line for 20, 30 minutes.
You didn't, not that day.
A little bit of a line, just because 3 registers were open. But a lot of folks were buying stuff because they got a $20 gift card back on their registration, 10% off, and they got a gift ornament on their way out. So
that's a 30% discount.
Absolutely. Folks really got a great deal. So
you got a couple other things going. You got your Tronos and you got Mingle event.
Yeah. So we've got the Tronos, which happened last week. We did that with the chair of the Education Committee, Pablo Pino from TD Bank, and their executive director, president and CEO, Linda Leach. And it was great. We don't often do a twofer at Tronos. It's usually, one person at a time.
That's like a double.
And it was great because they each talked a little bit about their own passion for education, what their journey was, and why they continue to give back. So I want to see what Matt said. He heard
quite a bit about the Strand.
Oh, the Strand is great.
So what is you getting a Mingle event? What do you get?
That was last night.
Oh, that was, I call it
Well, that was Mix and Mingle.
Mix.
Jingle and Mingle was yesterday in the morning. We had a mingle. We had a Jingle and Mingle day.
Okay, so you got a couple events to come up. You got Trust.
We have a trustee reception. That's next Tuesday, the 14th at Gentera Health. Brian Pla and his team are hosting us. And it'll be a great holiday celebration for our trustee and GEM members. I think that event is sold out, if not already pretty close to sold out. We had to limit the attendance, and I think Erica.
Can I fix this? We're in there.
Your waddle?
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I know you're already having a ball lift. Can we say that on Facebook?
Absolutely. Okay, what's up with Eric Pons?
Eric is going to be the keynote at our breakfast next Thursday, 16th.
A Gator.
Great Gator.
Killing Cougar before that.
One of the outstanding leaders in the bowl world. I know that a lot of his peers look to him. He always speaks to my class at St. Thomas University. He's going to talk about the national semifinal that's coming up, which is Georgia versus Michigan. I mean, two blue blood pedigreed programs that literally were ladies in waiting the entire season. Michigan was climbing its way back up with one loss. Michigan is playing Georgia in the national semifinal.
Are there going to be any tickets available?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, next.
And then the other semifinal is Cincinnati versus Alabama.
You know, I know we were talking about football, but
because you know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, but
what's going to happen?
Georgia's predicted to win, but
and Alabama will win, and they're going to have a rematch of the SEC championship game.
But you know, football's important. But my favorite food that I like to eat.
What? How did that happen?
Burgers. And January 13th. I love burgers.
January 13th is Burgerlicious. It's a little different in two ways. One, it is in a new location. And number two, it is our 10th anniversary. And so we're super excited about that. Different time of year. Normally it's in November. January is going to be absolutely luscious. And come get your tickets now. I think Morgan can put a link in there for you. I don't know if we're ready to announce any restaurants, Morgan. I know that we've been working hard to get some restaurant commitments.
Okay, so a couple years
we'd love to be able to share some of those. I think that'll be coming imminently.
You know, a couple years ago, you threw me a big curve.
Big.
You know, because I used to go to Burgerlicious, have a bite here.
Yeah.
They could skip a couple places, have a bite here, and try about 4 of them. No, you make me a judge. So I have to eat a whole, not a whole burger, but had a half a burger at like 20 places. Then I had to make a choice.
How'd you do? You got it right?
My guy didn't win. That's right.
Well, speaking of potential winners, we already have Clutch Burger. We have 109 Burger Joint. I know the guys from Shadow Wagyu told me on Instagram that they were in. So once we get their paperwork back, we can announce them. Fresh Street with Sam. He's going to be the one to beat.
Why?
Because their menu is reimagined every day at Fresh Street.
Where is it?
It's in the Del Monte building. And he's very, very clever. He is Lebanese. And I think you're going to find something we've maybe never had before. Maybe something in the lamb family.
Oh.
Is that a lamb?
No, that's a horse.
Oh.
It was close. But I am excited about Burgerlicious.
I don't know what to do with you.
Burgerlicious.
Thank you, Morgan. And thank you, Erica, for the good updates.
I just want to make it clear. Morgan and Erica, did you hear this? You said thank you.
Well, I'm good at saying thank you when they're not around.
Oh, okay.
I'm like that parent who never tells your kid they're like super proud of them,
right?
But tells everybody else. They don't know that. They don't see that. Maybe they kind of don't.
So George,
appreciate it.
Thank you. That restaurant has one on Coral Way that I've eaten a couple times. Am I correct, George? They're opening another location. They have one.
Which one is that?
See it, George?
Go check out a new place in Doral called Wanch.
They're on Coral Way now.
Oh, George, if you have a connection, let us know if they've got a great burger. We'd love to have them.
Great burger.
We'd love to include them.
Okay, so let's continue. Social media, you're still plugging away. You're getting close to 6,000.
I'm hoping we'll hit 6,000 by the end of 2021. We've still got about 3.5 weeks. We may do one more mini promotion. We are doing an Instagram mini promotion right now to win tickets, 2 tickets to the Orange Bowl Parade, the Junior Orange Bowl Parade, this Sunday at 5 p.m. So if you go on our Instagram, we're running a contest. There'll be 5 lucky winners. You each get 2 tickets, a pair of tickets, and the parade is this Sunday, the 12th, down Miracle Mile. And the theme is Miracle on the Mile, 5 p.m.
Wanchi is owned by a Brazilian gentleman.
Wanchi. Is it Wanchi? I didn't see the I.
Venezuelan. Great burgers.
Those are two completely different
I know,
countries.
and they stamp the top of the burger. I love it. Okay, next.
Why are you in a rush?
Oh, because you got things to do, place to go.
I will always have that.
Okay, let's talk about trustees.
Yes, we've got two new trustees this month already. One that's supposed to come in today. We'll be up to 3. We've got 5 more to do. We've got a bunch in the hopper, a bunch that are invited to join us at the Gentera event. Jen is plugging away on that. And we had last month, I think I wrote it down there, 32 new members. So already this year, in just 3 months and 10 days, we've had well over 100. That's our fiscal. Well over 100 new members join the chamber.
I'm telling you, yesterday there were so many new people.
Well, and I tell the team this all the time. I'm like, you got to get up, walk around, and connect, because a lot of folks you just don't know, you haven't met. We've got a lot of new faces, a lot of new blood. I say this all the time, that you should be a member of your local chamber. It doesn't always have to be us. We prefer it be us if you're in Coral Gables. But the best thing to give your business this year is a membership in a chamber. We're always out buying corporate gifts for our best clients and for our wonderful employees. But the best thing that you can do, my friends, is give the gift to something that supports your business. Do it now so that when 2022 arrives, you're raring and ready to go. And here's what I'll offer you. If you join as a trustee before next Friday, so next Friday is the 17th, I will also throw in 4 general admissions to our Burgerlicious event. That's a $200 value and a great event.
$200? I pay $85 a ticket.
Well, you don't buy on the early bird.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's a good point.
Are you sure it was 85?
It was to me always.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like Amy was putting a few bucks in her pocket when she did that.
Okay,
Good for you, Amy Donner.
Eric Pons, are we supposed to wear orange or a certain color?
Supposed to wear an ugly sweater. That shirt will do just fine, by the way.
I bought this in the 80s. I'm still wearing it. Come on.
The 1880s? That looks like it's straight off the loom.
All right.
People often tell you that they enjoy this show. They don't usually tell me that. But what is it that they say to you?
I don't
know. You're much more,
I was at another chamber event yesterday, and 2 people come by. I have no idea who they are. My gosh, I love watching you and Mark. And they said, let's clarify. They said, I love watching Mark and you.
No.
Yes, they do.
All.
Andres, what do you think?
We're a pair.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
We're a pair. I told the whole group today how we met, how we fell in love, where we honeymooned.
Where did we honeymoon?
I don't know. It was someplace that
in the press room?
that Ileana asked me if I had ever been to. I said, yes. I said, Grant and I honeymooned there. And she goes, you're just not letting go of that, are you?
Well, listen, I have spent more time with you today. Is it pretty exciting, right?
Am I going to see you later tonight?
No, you got out of that event.
I wouldn't say that publicly.
No. I'm going. I'm representing Miami-Dade, the
Hialeah campus.
And I'm a graduate
of the president.
Miami-Dade, 1976.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, congratulations to Madeline Pumariega on her investiture. She has been at the helm of the college already more than a year, but the investiture is the ceremony where you take command, you wear the chain of office, you are handed the reins of, in this case, the largest college in the country. And what's really exciting is first woman president. And I think secondly is, you would think she's already been there 10 years because she, a lot like her predecessor, is omnipresent. And imagine what that would look like if we weren't in a pandemic where there are not as many public events or limitations. There was a luncheon yesterday at the PAM. And what I'll say is that, I'm the chair of the New World School of the Arts Board. And what's great about that is it's a partnership between Miami-Dade College, the public schools, and of course, University of Florida, me representing the University of Florida. And what's really, really special about this is, all of those institutions, amongst many others, will be represented. I had a chance to sit down with Madeline early on and talk with her about her vision. And she's very clear on what she wants to do, not only for the college, but for New World. And so this is our community's opportunity to celebrate one of our own who grew up here, as she likes to say, a girl from Hialeah.
So, by the way, tonight, I'm taking this shirt off. I'm putting my I Love Hialeah shirt on and putting a jacket right over, and I'm going to have it proudly.
This is what they call business casual, ladies and gentlemen. If you had any questions about that, please ask Grant Miller, who apparently is now a stylist.
I'm proud of wearing my Hialeah shirt.
I'm proud of it too. You got me one. It fits me beautifully. The color is bold.
So this is what I heard. So I'm at an event in Key Largo. The president there, and her chief of staff, or whoever was with her, called the president of Hialeah camp and says, "We're at Key Largo, and all these people are wearing your shirt. I love Hialeah." I said, "We were everywhere. We're everywhere."
Well, I know you were at Mike Caracart's event. And you got a chance to see our friend Missy and the entire family, and I missed the lovely Missy. I told Mike, I said, next year I'll be sure to be in town because I know it's a great time.
Stone crabs, lobsters. All right, it is a wrap. It's another great day.
Where did you stay? Did you drive back?
Yes.
I don't know. I thought maybe you stayed the night.
He wanted me to. Mike.
Stay the night.
Mike said, I got to go work.
Do we miss any other notes? Always entertaining. Thank you, George. Have a great week. You too, George. Mark and Grant are like apples and pears. Peyton and Eli, Mario and Luigi. I guess those are famous couples.
Yes, we're a couple.
I mean, let's be candid. You're much more an apple than a pear.
That's a good point. Good point. Well, it's a wrap.
That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. As always, take good care of each other. I mentioned that today at our breakfast, that now is the time to check in on friends you haven't talked to. Holidays can be tough on folks. We have a great member, Rogers Behavioral Health, a wonderful trustee investor of ours, who has been reminding us that it's incumbent upon all of us to keep an eye out for each other. Holidays, like I mentioned, can be lonely, can be isolating. But you know what? Get out there, love on one another, support local, shop local, be a member of your local chamber. Every message is relevant. And you know what? I am in the holiday spirit. Thank you, New York, and thank you, Seraphic Fire. Have a great week, everybody, and a great weekend.
Have a great day.